Hey, it was Luna Fest this year, a Luna Film Festival sponsored by, I think it's Luna Bar, it's California-based film festival that traveled to Victoria last year, and we went to it. And this year, because was it last year or the year before it was the year of the pandemic, so this year it's a virtual film festival. So we sat down tonight and watched it at home while having dinner. Seven short films made about women by women, which is always it was really great. Last time we saw, I can't remember if that was the 2019 or if we actually did see it in 2020 before everything got shut down. I think we were doing all our spacing, so I guess we must have seen it actually in a theater. It's probably the last thing that we actually saw in a theater. Um, and yeah, so seven films this year. Knocking Down Fences, about a professional woman um, outfielder, softball outfielder, making all these flying leaps and, you know, living in poverty because being a professional female athlete means you don't make any money whatsoever because everything is geared in our society to watching men and them being the peak of everything. And that was really good. There was one with it's about fishing, which it felt like we're gonna focus on this young Native woman learning to fly fish, but it was like it was this that was like the side story to the actual much more important thing, which was about preserving fish stocks and conservation that way. But it became about fly fishing, which was it felt like we don't have enough time for a 2 hour documentary, so we're going to do just 5 minutes on this kind of little side story on it. There was one Overexposed, which I guess opened it, which was this all woman uh, expedition to the North Pole, which I've just read Birthday Boys, which was all about a doomed um, expedition uh, to the famous doomed expedition uh, to the South Pole. But in there's also just all the kind of stuff about letting women actually uh, be Arctic explorers. Whichever Arctic or southern Arctic explorers was definitely a verboten thing, and you can even see in this point it wasn't. That was more of a trailer, a behind the scenes of the film that's actually going to be coming out later. So that was interesting, but it was definitely kind of a teaser trailer. There was one that was kind of through the New Yorker, which was animated um, storytelling over a nonfiction account of a Venezuelan woman who, at the age of 12, uh, came. It's like, we need to get out of here. There's abuse going on at home, and they need to leave, and they get to the States, but uh, due to circumstances, separated from her mother, uh, sexually trafficked, abused, molested, um, and coming out the other side. And I mean, being one of the not happy, one of the stories that ends at least happily. But yeah, yeah, and that was really heartbreaking and well done, and in a way that you thought, oh God, if I was going to hear the subject matter, it's going to just be it would be too much, or it would be used exploitatively. But it was like, no, using this woman's own words. I think it was her telling the story in her own words, and then them just doing the animation over it, obviously shaped and everything to fit into this kind of a format, but really affecting. Um, and kind of giving that, hello, human beings are in this immigration crisis, and maybe the policies that we adopt for this should be for human beings, not for abstract, you know, thoughts of what the immigrant or the refugee is. You know, human beings. So that was really good. There's a couple ones on artists. Betty Sayer, a woman artist in her 90s now, who's been kind of fighting the fight, kind of on racism, on just being a female black artist. That was really good. And it had really striking pieces. One on is it Sophie Waller, which was very much clitorisy, is how she put it. And indeed, it was the idea of like at least central motif of what we got to see of this slice of her art was in this kind of the large organ of the clitoris, which is like full within the body. Something that in the movie it says like it'd be only the full expression, the full exhumation of that only came in 1998, which I just kind of startled me the fuck out because of like exactly how many phalluses that are outside the body, but you'd think that would be something that would be available before 1998. And kind of given the face of her talking to her, given a kind of a dramatic face to that, writing a letter to her infant daughter, which is a little bit more of a dramatization. That's probably something that the artist worked with the filmmaker on to do, but was effective there. I think someone like Betty Sayer, where you're looking at a huge scope of her work, maybe gives you a more global sense of this artist, whereas you get the sense with Sophie Waller that you're still starting out with her, and we'll see where she goes from there. So as always, just really interesting slice, a good excuse to actually sit down and watch things like this that I'm sure, too much to my shame, it's like this is stuff that you could probably find online. How many artist short films and stuff like that are on YouTube, just there, but aren't curated. And you don't have that thing of like, okay, I'm going to sit down for an hour and a half or 2 hours and just watch these things and absorb them and pay attention. But yeah. So as always, really great stuff. I'm really glad that Ja signed us up for it. All right, more videos later.